Привет, на канале Снятие Play, и сегодня мы продолжаем Диско Элизиум снова. Снова без камеры, потому что не вижу смысла. Я не буду это озвучивать, тебе надо видеть текст. Озвучивать я это все не хочу, потому что у меня болит горло. Короче, читаешь текст сам. Иногда я что-то там комментирую, но не всегда. Потому что игру пройти хочу, но на записи проходить не буду, с камерой тоже не буду. В общем, вот так вот будем проходить. Так что, пошли. Мы остановились на чем? На том, что вверху нам путь преграждает громила, которого нам надо обойти каким-то образом. А еще нам надо поговорить с перевозчиками. А, да? Окей.
Nobody betrays your degeneracy.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
А что такое дегенеративная сущность? Как это понять? Я не понимаю, что такое дегенеративная сущность.
Don't say anything. Size him up first.
Ну да, нам как бы в порт надо и от полиции.
That is precisely the negligence that has led you to succumb to Valhul. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Valhul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can. It is making the woman in my company sick.
Да, мне как бы поебать на твою спутницу. А у Гули алкоголь. Ну да, я алкоголик, но труп снять надо.
No, you don't. You need to get another drink. Occidental Haplogroup B4 is done giving orders around here. The influence of the ham sandwich race is waning. Show him the ham still got it.
Какую ветчину? Что за сэндвичная раса? Я немного сломался.
Begging for help. Attempting to pass fear for cooperation. How far the Occidental Haplogroup has fallen. You were once a noble and powerful race. You gave the world eugenics, electricity, and powerful weapons of war like missiles and aerostatic aircraft. You made great gains in metallurgy, race theory, and statecraft. You dominated lesser cultures, like the deformed Hemians and the inexplicably potato-obsessed Khoikos. But now your ascent to the genetic summit has halted. You are obsessed with sadness and with frivolous pop culture. You will be superseded. Isn't that right, babe?
It is, baby, yeah. You know it.
There is a button right behind him, just out of reach. It must be the one that opens the door to the harbor. This man is not budging. Let's hope his superiors inside are more cooperative.
Ну да, короче, ты прав, а теперь пошли и дело там с ним. Хотя нет, вы его подвесили.
Enough with this begging. You should leave the stage of history with dignity by
Да что за хуйню он
inviting
несет?
the other races to a great world war. Bring your troops to the Seminine Islands and to Boogie Street, and we will pulverize you. When you are gone, we will build a museum for you. The walls will be lined with bottles of Al Ghul, your beloved beverage. Inside, we will store the odes to homosexuality you call art, and your microcephalic skulls.
Он алкофоб, гомофоб и вообще отвратительная личность, судя по всему.
This is your chance. He's talking. Rip into him with a punch and catch him off guard.
Ты уверен?
No, don't rip into anyone. You're sensitive. Remember? Communicate.
42% это маленький шанс.
He does not so much as glance at the object.
Stop showing me your pathetic cup. I have no interest in it.
Does he strike you as the kind of man who puts mugs into trash?
Don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this. The race enigma runs much deeper than that.
There must be some friction there. He's keeping it well hidden, however.
Так. Ну, продолжайся убеждать.
Mr. Clare is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront polycultural capital, something your race, naivistic communists, never did. Also, to serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individualism has only contributed to your race failure. It is lax and moronic. Idiotic communism is the single greatest contributor to your race descent. Everywhere around you, the fruits of its failure to challenge the world order. Above all, rampant multinational finance still reigning large. Tell me, where have you gotten your love of pathetic communism from? Degenerate youth culture? Rock and roll
Ну,
music?
допустим, из диска.
Offshoots of the Seminoles people invented disco while having sex under the influence of cocaine. It is a shame upon my race. I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products of the inevitable cultural victory of the Seminoles race.
А семенинцы-то он так евреев оскорбляет? Так, ну давай про тело.
What you need is to come to terms with extinction and never getting that dead body down from the tree.
I think this racist is better than the last, but the next racist will be the really good one. There always is.
Race is reality. I am not the first line of defense. I am the last. In addition, these so-called hardy boys are an effeminate clique of bodybuilders. Their company is spiritual. The hardy manlets are on the pay of the company. I answer to the union alone. And I do this out of race heroism. Finance is an alien concept to the Seminoles. Now leave me be. I must luxuriate in the company of my woman. Racists are generally not very good examples of their race. I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection. I have taken the trouble to permanently draw a phrenologic grid on my skull and features.
Ебанат какой-то.
True, that is a noble cranium, but you got a hard noggin yourself.
Ну, допустим, принять его сторону.
Correct.
Ну, давай пытаться, что поделать.
Go ahead.
Хуй так.
Don't be shy. Just ask for race secrets.
Отсыпни.
Inane popular culture lingo. It is intellectually uninteresting to sock anything to an infant such as...
We still need to get into the harbor. We need help with the tree situation. There must be another way.
Try the jump. Up there on the roof. It'll be worth it. Else there is little choice but to figure out a way to... As you turn, a bright light catches your eye, making you squint. So cool. From a distant sunset, a stage light, flash photography, nowhere in particular. It's just what superstar law officers do. They squint at lights, and they solve shit. Yeah, you have. You're a big dick cop, Dick Mullen. Salam Rocky Baye, badass on the edge disco cop. Time to recede into a ludicrous fantasy world. Here we go. Camera. With a sudden flash, the world freezes around you, and you along with it. In an iconic...
Как исследовать вот эти штуки, я не понимаю. Вообще. Да спускайся. Да ёбаный ты рот, что ты ёбнулся. Вот же лестница, почему ты по ней не идешь? Что не так? Что не так? А, надо обязательно вокруг бегать. Так, ты этот самый дальнобойщик. Нет, мне нужен торгаш.
The speakers below are banged up and worth...
Everything's still cool here, officer. Drugs? I don't go in for that, officer. Drugs ruin lives.
Пиздишь.
Unless you're into drugs, of course. In which case, drugs are excellent. Mwah! Tasty, tasty drugs. That's very cool. A lot of the coolest detectives do drugs. Sadly, I don't have any drugs on sale. Or at my home, or on my person.
А почему нет варианта как-то его там раскрутить?
That's even cooler. You investigating that and all. But I am not a lorry driver. I'm just a street vendor. Who said that? It's the fat racist, right? I bet it's him. He has an agenda against me because I'm an immigrant who works hard.
So you admit you're a lorry driver?
No, I just said I work harder and he's an asshole. I'm... Okay, maybe I'm a lorry driver too. A little. But that's not the most important thing about me. That's my day job. This is my dream.
Ну, а источники говорят, что это ты.
That's insane. It's the fat hater. He's been eyeing me for a week and he sent you here. Maybe he's the one, huh? Have you thought about that? Nothing. I told you. I'm not a dumb guy. I don't get involved with that crowd.
And what crowd is that?
Crowd. You know, the drug crowd.
There's more here. He's afraid of this crowd, whoever they are, more than he is of the racist lorry man.
Так, кого ты боишься?
Look, there's bad people doing bad things here. That's all I know. Please don't get me into this mess. I've spent 15 years working my way up. It's a she, okay? The other drivers call her the lady driver. You're better off staying away from her. The way they talk about her, she's no lady.
Так, ну где?
There's one by the statue of that king. I haven't gone near her, and I won't either.
The third driver. We haven't talked to her yet. Where exactly is she? Near the horseback monument?
In her lorry there. But I don't know if it's her. Are we cool now? I think we're cool now. All of them. I don't know. I told you all I know.
Who exactly is talking about this lady driver of yours? The racist or the other one?
All of them. Even the ones who've left. I don't hang out with them. I don't remember who has tattoos. All
Ладно.
right. I scored. Let's cap this off with a purchase. You can walk away from here with funky sunglasses, detectives. Both of you. You deserve it.
Да ёб твою мать, опять я заюзал что-то. Ой, идешь ты в жопу. Я вместо кнопки подсветки нажимаю случайно на левый джойстик постоянно.
Just a moment.
She's agitated, judging from the way she keeps pulling at the frayed edge.
And there's no public phones nearby?
The closest phone booth is down the coast. Sorry for the inconvenience, ma'am.
It's fine, I understand. Thank you anyway.
The lady is distressed. Perhaps something more upbeat might cheer her up.
Так, могу ли помочь чем-то?
Please don't trouble yourself about me, sweetie. I was just hoping to make the union office probably has a phone, but I can't really get there. Or to the phone booth down the coast. And Gary's phone is dead too. The manager was vague about it.
Why would he be vague about phone problems? This is something to look into later.
Так, зачем тебе?
Ask
To let the young woman who's house sitting for us know that we may be delayed. Morel, my husband, and our friend Gary were supposed to get back by Monday night, but they're still missing and I haven't heard from them. I was also hoping she'd heard from Morel. That's just it. This isn't like him at all. He always plans his expeditions so carefully.
A cold breeze hisses through dense thickets of reeds. Something sweet in it, somnolent. A damp chill goes down your spine.
But you have more important things to worry about.
Ну, расскажи
Oh
побольше.
dear. I'm not sure where to begin. Well, his expression is slightly grumpy, but his eyes are always bright and curious, like a small boy's. And his palms are quite coarse from all the field work, but he's quite gentle.
It's always a challenge to describe the person you know best in the world.
Oh, well, he's a bit shorter than you, but with a larger frame, and he has longish white hair, usually a bit uncombed. You might say wild, even.
The lieutenant pulls out his notebook and begins jotting down the woman's.
One other thing, he'll likely have all kinds of field gear on him, even if he's not out in the reeds, you know, just in case.
Так, а давно?
We'll be celebrating our 16th anniversary this autumn. Not the most numerically satisfying anniversary, but I like the less obvious milestones even more somehow. By a dating agency, I'm ashamed to say. I was looking to get back into the scene after recovering from my accident, and he'd just divorced. We hit it off, and, well, here we are.
She's skipping over some important parts. Perhaps you'll find out.
I hope I've been useful. Oh, yes. A zoologist. A cryptozoologist, to be more precise.
It's a pseudoscience that attempts to legitimize research into mythological beasts and urban legends.
That's one opinion, yes. And people are entitled to their opinions.
She's used to playing off such insults casually, but they still affect her.
My apologies, ma'am. I did not mean to undermine your hobby.
It's not a hobby, dear. It's a subfield of zoology, one specializing in animal species that are so exceedingly rare that many assume them to be extinct or even fictitious. Searching for such species called cryptids is difficult and often thankless, and frankly, many scientists are too lazy to do it. Universities these days are rarely interested in supporting real research.
She's completely internalized her husband's struggles. They are her own.
Так, ну давай пытаемся увидеть.
Sometimes the most charming thing you can do is be reasonable in your requests.
I suppose you could use a break and I could use a distraction.
One cryptid, like you said. One. This can't turn into some kind of cryptid extravaganza. We have things to do.
Ну, давай одного
He
маленького.
nods and assumes a waiting posture. Cryptids, cryptids. Let's hear about all the interesting cryptids. Ooh, tough choice there.
Ну, давай спросим самого
The
опасного.
gnome of Jeroma. Oh, yes. None of its victims survived. Grieving relatives never even found their bodies because the gnome's venom dissolved organic tissue. It was reportedly a small creature with webbed fingers and a protruding forehead and a gangly little thing. Quite scary to look at. A couple of campers found it when it was already dying. They heard an odd wailing in the woods and followed the sound. They were scared and wrapped it in tarpaulin to suffocate it. It still took the gnome of Jeroma an entire day to die.
If the body of the creature was found, why aren't there detailed illustrations of it in science textbooks, confirming the existence of this very little species?
Alas, the first scientist who got his hands on the creature's corpse put it in a jar of formaldehyde thinking that would detoxify the gnome's venom. Instead, all the venom leaked out of the creature's teeth and into the surrounding liquid, dissolving the creature itself. A poetic end, perhaps, but a real loss for science.
Пиздит, конечно, она. Ну, либо ёбнутая. Что скорее.
Alas, always alas, and then it was gone. Isn't that overly convenient?
I understand your skepticism, but that's what happens with things that are rare and stand out. Their disappearance is most memorable, and they are least likely to be found again.
Так, ну давай с самого большого.
Hey, you promised you'd only ask about one cryptid.
The lieutenant pauses thoughtfully. Something in him breaks.
Ah, fuck it. Let's have more cryptids.
Well, the biggest cryptid is, of course, the horrible giant of Kokonur. The giant lives in the most arid parts of the vast Kokonur Desert in South Samara, casting a mirage or a psychogenous luminance. No one knows for sure. It is like an awful mountain appearing from below the horizon and expanding to cover almost a third of your field of vision. The towering luminosity of Kokonur is a bad omen in local folklore. Some say it's a fata morgana.
Hooey. No animal can be that large. It's a mirage.
That's what makes it so peculiar. A species surviving at the very limits of scientific law. There are limits, you see, to how large a metabolism an ecosystem can beget. Some say a gravity anomaly below the Kokonur Desert might allow the creature to grow to these...
Great. This is great shit. You need more.
Так, хватит.
Of course, dear. Just some field work, sweetie. Morel is a highly trained scientist. He and his assistant Gary are studying an extremely rare species of... But they should have returned by now. They were just going down the coast across the waterlock to set a few traps. He said they'd be back on Monday.
The waterlock. That was broken. Could this be it?
Oh my. What happened to the waterlock? Well, whatever the cause, I'm thankful. To both of you. You've spared me another sleepless night.
Привет, какая-то инвалидка-старушка.
You're welcome, ma'am.
I hate to ask, but if you're
Ёбнутая, верящая в существование несуществующих животных.
please do keep
Как
an
и
eye
её
out
муж.
for my husband.
This will surely lead to a cryptozoological mystery with that extremely rare insect.
And if you see him, let him know Lena is waiting for him here at the Whirling. He gets so tangled up in his work that he may not know the waterlock's been repaired. And it's cold out there.
По душе? Что по душе? Так, ладно, старушка, давай мы с твоего мужа найдем,
Oh,
если
you're
что.
such a dear. Thank you, sweetie.
Вот, про ваш
I
значок.
hope you were able to pawn that old trinket.
Я его выкупил, и вот на, бери его назад.
Oh, thank you, dear. I confess I am glad to see it again. Very honorable of you, officer.
Even the lieutenant seems happy with this turn of events.
Now, what else, sweetie?
Так, насекомые нам не интересно. Криптиды тоже, все, на это пока.
Hey, so we've been monitoring you internally, and now we know your copo type. Guess.
Ну, может быть. Ну, вообще-то, коп-суперзвезда.
That is only a ludicrous daydream. Guess again. You're the...
Крутой коп.
No, you're the sorry cop. The cop who's sorriest. Let's make it official then, shall we? Huge lack of enthusiasm going on in here.
Ага. Не знаю, я решил, короче, перестал записывать эту игру по сериям, потому что и перестал ее озвучивать, потому что у меня горло болит, слишком много текста. А, собственно, в жопу.
Yes, yes. Impotent rage and lamentation. Let's wrap it up. What? Jealous of the sorry cop? I think they'll be fine. Don't. They'll be super, super fine. It'll be totally okay. You can dual copo type from sorry to anything. No, you don't. Come on. You'll be back to saying sorry in 2 minutes. Stop wasting time and begin the repentance. Wow. Okay. Fuck off. Maybe we were wrong about you then. Check out the big ball.
Ой, здоровье восстановили, надо же. А еще я не понимаю систему прокачки здесь. Я не понимаю, что нужно прокачивать. Потому что здесь нету того, что мне нужно. Мне нужно прокачать ебучую эквилибристику. Здесь нету эквилибристики ни вот в этих вот названиях, ни в описаниях того, что я качаю. Там нету никакой... Здесь еще и фон плохой, ничего не видно. Надо выйти отсюда. Здесь нету никакой эквилибристики. А, серьезно, Ладно, я нашел эквилибристику. А почему я не видел до этого? Так, жизнь сразу стала проще. Ну-ка. Ну-ка. А получится сейчас с прокачанной эквилибристикой? Да, уйди ты, дай мне пройти. Так что он творит, ёпт? Туда, наверх, вот так.
A tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the
Но шансы все равно маленькие, но эквилибристика уже прокачана. Ладно, давай еще раз пытаться. Это удача или нет? Да нет, конечно, потому что он с секунды боится просто перелезть нормально.
No, that's still too high.
Ладно, давай в следующий. Блять, опять минус здоровья.
Looks like you almost.
Да, нормально. Зато в трениках спортивных. Это почему здесь нельзя выйти? А, ну это тоже крыша, наверное. Ну, наверное. Почему он не может просто перелезть? Перелезть. Зачем ему нужна эквилибристика с подпрыгиваниями, чтобы залезть, спрыгнуть вниз? Почему просто нельзя взять и спуститься? Зачем вот эти вот прыжки вертикальные? Ну как, не я не знаю, как назвать такой тип прыжка, чтобы встать в вертикальную позу после прыжка. Так, здесь где-то должна быть женщина. О, прикольно. Не обыскивали. Эта майка выглядит как то, чего ему не хватает. +1 грубой силы. Может получится перепрыгнуть, правда, ХП нифига нету. А оно заменяет что? Оно заменяет рубашку, которая дает... Но рубашка-то получше. А, вот она.
small, wrinkled woman does not greet you. She nods along to something on her radio. A photograph is clutched in her hands, and there is a warm smile on her face. It's the warmth of a winter night's fire. Maybe she could give you comfort and shelter, some cigarettes and food money. Maybe she's your...
Бабуль?
Nothing. Her smile just keeps widening. Her hair, no. This one is a monster in disguise.
Уважаемый.
No response. Wherever this woman is, your words fail
А
to
пальцем по
reach her.
щелкать.
If you want her attention, you may need to be more forceful.
Where am I? Who are you?
Спрашиваю я каждую субботу с утра себя.
The smile on her face has disappeared, replaced by the weary aspect of a cornered beast.
Так, а вы в порядке?
Never mind. I remember now. I'm still stuck in that traffic jam in the 50s.
Не понял. А что такого
The men
плохого?
have small jaws and everything is made out of plastic. Why do you need plastic when you can make the world out of amber?
А где бы вы могли быть?
Back in Mecca, during the time of the revolution, the side walls and cafes are filled with young people. I was on my way to see a new Boyadero picture starring Gabriel Buenguerro. Until you came along, that is.
Так, что ж, ладно, у меня к тебе вопросы полицейские.
Why not, Harife? It's not like I have anything better to do in this hellhole.
There's something off about this woman. Tell her to show you the soles of her boots. Maybe she was at the hanging.
Ну, давайте подошву
Now what
посмотрим.
do you want with an old woman's boots, Harife?
По важному делу.
I'm starting to think you should let me get back to Gabriel Buenguerro. You are no Gabriel.
She's wearing sturdy worker's boots made of black leather. Buckles run across.
А
Just
второй?
before Gabriel, it was the coronation of Franco Negro. Now, there was a real
Ну,
man.
это значит, не она убивала.
Moreover, the boots were size 37. Tiny. There are too many discrepancies in all this.
It was. And then it was no more. And I was no longer holding my father's hand. He was no longer descending the stairs in Ryle, the crowd. Perhaps it was another Harife who came and woke me up, looking at my boots, asking questions.
As she says carnival, she gestures to the empty square with the
Ну,
statue
подошвы
and the
одинаковые, да.
machine.
I could have told you that from just looking at them. The size is 37.
The feet of a little girl, they fit well on the pedals.
Что перевозишь? Каждый день, кроме четверга, в 6 часов по центральноевропейскому времени, кроме выходных, в выходные примерно в час по центральноевропейскому. Так, а что перевозите?
Diamonds.
Вообще, короче, в описании есть ссылочка на топлинка, там все расписано.
Of course not. But wouldn't it be marvelous if I was?
Так, а на самом деле ты что
Whatever stupid
перевозишь?
things they put in the lorry, I imagine.
То есть вы не знаете, что у вас
I
там?
quit concerning myself with that a long time ago. Besides, I don't drive the lorry for the cargo, if you know what I mean.
She says that as if something narcotic is the real reason.
А что если контрабанда?
Then it's contraband, lawman. What? Do you want to take an old woman in? Be my guest. Lock me away like bad hand Hermenegildo.
Ну, похоже, он неплохо разбирается.
What do I need drugs for, lawman? What I see, what I feel. The great adversary. No drugs can compare. Yes, there is a protagonista and an adversario. I am on the side of the adversary. There's no coming back from that hole.
Those epithets are familiar somehow. The great adversary, the great unrest. I don't like the sound of any of that. Sounds like a horrible drug. The worst one of them all.
Так, а как мне испытать?
If you don't know,
Так что именно
you're
переводишь?
man, lawman. What of it? Maybe. Probably not. Makes no difference to me either way. Just this month, I made half a dozen trips from Saramiriza to Grat on the U41A. What do you think they take from Saramiriza? No, lawman, diamonds.
Damn this. Make her answer.
I would never make fun of a real lawman, Herifia.
Ma'am, you're not responsible for what the client puts in your lorry, as long as the
спасибо.
seals are not opened. We officers know that.
Спасибо и спокойной ночи.
Lay off her.
Так, я не спрашивал о бриллиантах, мне дело никакого
Diamonds are
дела.
good for you, lawman. You should try them sometime. Make yourself pretty like Eva de Zoras.
А кого бы ты заподозрил?
Easy. Is the skinny man who thinks he's a poet. Never trust a poet. Also, he's the only one I can see.
That's correct. There is no visibility of any of the others.
Where do you want me to go? This isn't so bad. I can listen to music, or the seagulls. Look at all the colors and the features of this world. It's a good palate cleanser, this jamboree. Or I can just relax and let my mind carry me back where it will, to the Great Plains.
I think we're done here, no?
Так,
Yes,
ладно, ну,
go.
неинтересно.
Enough jamboree.
Кого худощавого и где она видит? А, вот того.
Now it's turning into a kind of a snow limbo, man. What's on your mind? It's like whatever's going on over at the docks. Workers got a blockade set up.
Я
making
запутался, кто из них может
no wait.
возить.
Some pretty wild stuff I hear. Like a giant new power crane in half the company. I forget what exactly. Good on them, I guess. I've heard talk there's a company rep in town too. Like a strike negotiator type. They'd know what's up. They want to keep that money flowing in, my man. Ka-ching. Anything else? Yeah, this ain't really my area of expertise. Us lorry drivers. Cam, your nurse. You still hang around here waiting for this mess to end. Most have scurried off somewhere to get drunk or high. Or laid. Not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a drag these days. I prefer the examined life now.
What's better than chasing transient pleasures? The more transient, the better. He tries
Ну,
his
тут я
best to look
согласен с голосом в
nonchalant,
нашей голове.
but there's a rigidity in him, as if
I don't want to talk about that.
И почему?
Man, I was hoping it isn't going to be her. All I can say is, she isn't around here anymore. She isn't some evil drug trafficker. And I don't know where she is. I didn't, man. I told you I was hoping it's not her. That she wouldn't be...
he still is, hoping. It's just wishful thinking on his part, not trickery.
Thank God I don't know. People here call her the lady driver. She kept her name a secret. From me, too. Now I see... Damn, I don't want to...
We can't just let it go. It's part of a police.
That's how it always is with you, isn't it? All part of the investigation.
Так, ну
It
ты
won't
нам
come to
скрутить
that.
несет.
We won't pursue her on this. This is information.
I don't believe you. I just can't, man. I'm not naive. She's got the darkness in her. That young person's darkness when you think it's all over.
She shared this with you?
Yes. Which is why I don't want to snitch on her. It's snitching, man. I know what it is. I heard the rumors. I saw the other drivers looking at me strange when we talked. And she told me, too, that she's had a violent life.
Did this violent life include drug trafficking?
Well, it looks like it did now. But we didn't talk about that. We talked about life, you know? She talked about her mind. Fuck, man. Go grill someone else with these questions, okay? There are plenty of drivers here who couldn't stand her, or were.
He's right. There are other options. Push Tommy and it will break his heart and his spirit. Now is not the time to focus on feelings. You need that info, son.
You're not gonna put a bullet in your head if you blow it, are you? Because she's on the edge, man.
I wouldn't be so sure, Tommy. Imagine it. An explosion of...
Так,
Thank
ладно.
you, friend.
Нам надо не забыть, что в 9 часов надо сходить в дом. Точнее, не в 9, а к 9.
The woman is still hunted.
Huh? What is it? What do you want? Did you just call me a lady, Herife?
She clearly doesn't think she's a lady. Don't you? The woman's malevolent cackling fills.
I'm a lady like you are Gabriel Buenguerro. Only in dreams. I'm only terrifying to small children, and to those who used to know me. How should I know? Do I look like I spend a lot of time with the other communers sniffing around?
Так, понял, мне что-то не надо.
Something in her is pulling towards some unknown restless state. She twitches.
А раз это не она, то идем выясним кого-то трупу.
Damn, that felt good. Your heart's... No, you shouldn't. You're an officer of the law.
Not as a general rule, but that one was justified. Better to get the lay of the land before telling people to...
That means you should do it whenever you feel like someone's disrespecting your authority. That's the spirit. Never forget, the whole world's a wooden...
Looking for something odd? Come to tell me to fuck off again? I don't know what you're talking about.
Ну, во-первых, ты знал.
He did something. He stole his employer's goods and another lorryman's job. You should be thankful for the tip.
He's been expecting this. He's really puffed himself up.
Listen up, fuckwits. You don't scare me. You cops don't run Evangel West. You don't run Martinez. You don't
А она,
run
то есть, управляет?
anything.
No. He means la puta madre.
The name resounds like a bell in the air. A dark gong. You get... Looks like the lieutenant has a plan. Let him do...
Yeah, him.
The lieutenant looks at you skeptically.
I ain't saying nothing. I'm not in trouble right now, and I don't have to.
How do you want to proceed?
The man drops the near-finished cigarette.
I don't know what you're talking about. Listen up, fuckwits. You don't scare me. You cubs don't run Evashal
Ну,
West.
живо говори.
You're all bark and no bite. The real dogs are up in Jamrock. Everywhere.
You mean La Puta Madre?
The name resounds like a bell in the air. Looks like the lieutenant has a plan.
Yeah, him.
Then I presume you are familiar with his peonies.
Yeah, they're his little bitches. He's got them all over the unions.
Not just the unions. He has peonies everywhere. Some say he even has them in the RCM. Dirty fucking peonies who'd do anything for him. Multi-ethnic drug addicts.
You're not peonies. You wouldn't be investigating a drug thing if you were.
No, of course not. We are not peonies. But if we were, and one of Madre's drivers were to be stealing from him, then it's a good peonist job to find out who that is. It's not a hard job. It won't take a long time. It won't make Padre Madre angry. But a stupid fucking racist is standing in the way, protecting this fucking thief.
Немножко пиздим. Подпёздываем.
I'm not scared of you or the mob. I'm under the protection of the Lorrymen and Carters Guild.
You've seen that corpse in the ceramic armor there. Did his shitty little guild protect him?
Nah, you wouldn't just leave him out there if you...
The lieutenant turns and gives you a bit. I've softened him up as best I could. Now it's on you to be careful. This man's still got some fight in him by the looks
Почему
of it.
опасно?
It won't be easy to break him.
Ну давай.
Men like this only respect two things. Time to turn up the volume.
Да, быстро, блять, показывай мне тут грузовик.
Fuck you, I told you. I'm not gonna...
There. His voice grows smaller as yours.
Look, fuck you, man. It's some lorry down there. Green, banged up thing.
When did she go away?
I don't know. I don't even know her name. She just rolls with the fleet and acts like a big shot. Some dyke, probably. I haven't even seen her for days.
Now it's not a big deal for him anymore. This is how he saves face.
Past the monument. Down there. The Green Temple. Now, leave me the fuck alone.
A small temple by the monument. Green. Let's...
Looks
Идем
like he got
копаемся.
his adrenaline up, too.
Идем покопаемся. А где? А вот он.
This green found, A to Z, contemporaire, is parked in the shadow of the ruins looming overhead. It seems
This must be the one he told us about. Unless he was lying.
the glass on the side windows is tinted and covered with dust. You can barely make out the shape of a seat, and it feels like you're peeking into someone's home residence. Inside it's private. The door is locked. The handle looks shiny, like there's no picking this lock. The owner has put special care into it. It's a recessed design.
Use the pry bar to smash the window. Open it from the inside.
Ну
I
хорошо.
don't know how good it is, but this investigation has taken long enough. We can't afford it to take any longer. Yes?
Да, отстань ты, я не с тобой хотел.
This screen found, A to Z, contemporaire. With a firm grip, you raise the pry bar. A glint of light catching on the tip. Call down the hammer of truth and justice. Release your secrets, lorry cabin.
Добро пожаловать в Ривашоль.
The window shatters and droplets of glass fly.
Sato.
The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter. These are movie posters featuring starlets from long-forgotten films from the 20s, the teens, even the 90s of the last century. One of them particularly catches your eye, a centerfold of an ingenue attached right above the back seat. The actress is draped in a sheath dress, one of her shoulders bared. The faded remains of a feeling of tenderness washes over you. Wait, doesn't she resemble someone you know? But you can't put your finger on whom exactly. The actresses and the rare actor all looks like the frequency dial is absent. It requires a key to work, but the key has been removed.
Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be over 100 at least. Doesn't look like it. It's completely inoperable without the dial key. For contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen, for example. This is all shortwave, UW and UKV. Looks like we are dealing with an impressive organizational tool. The nerve center of a huge operation, with quite a range too.
A 20-kilometer radius at least, perhaps extended by an attachable antenna that's not here right now. The smell of 1,000 cigarettes, some dead act. You wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like the few tools lying around here, a hammer, but one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper has been glued to the throttle. Sandpaper adds extra grip.
Sandpaper? A novel technique?
Ну вот и наш
Yes.
7-й или 8-й.
Do the honors, he thinks. Connect it yourself.
Which means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching. Now we know for certain who is the missing 8th person at the lynching. Do you think that Hardy and his boys could also be involved in the drug operation?
Ну, не обязательно.
You're right. But we should still go and see what Titus has got to say on the matter. Are we finished with the lorry?
The movie stars are still smiling from the metallic drawer slides out from the seat. It's empty, except for a folk. It's an issue of Peripherique from last Wednesday. A piece of paper. It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. Complex mathematical equations explain the basics of something called the These formulas look oddly painful. Maybe it's the hangover, but they give you a headache.
The Uland frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, UKV, but...
The pull-out tool slides back into his... He closed the rusty oak.
Great. I think we got everything. A word, detective? All right, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and go over what we found, so we don't do it in front of the company rep. Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. The evidence seems to point to a rather extensive and well-organized... I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it can connect. Looks like this alleged drug trade casts a wide net. I'm not sure what the Uland frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect between fleets while avoiding frequency bleed, or maybe it's used to tap into RCM networks.
Listening in on your calls between you and your station.
And last but not least, it looks like the Hardy Boys knew this driver, as we know that she was present at the lynching. This may be the Union connection we've been searching for.
The probe and the case converged, he thinks. This was quite
А
the
что насчет
find.
плакатов?
As elegant as they are, I don't think they are relevant to the drug trade.
Don't be fooled. Desire always plays a role.
Yes, well...
Unimportant.
As elegant...
Don't be fooled.
Yes, well...
Unimportant.
Like Joyce told us, yes, logistically. But don't expect to bust this open during our stay here. At best, this is an angle we can use against them, to other ends, as extra. We should return to the murder case. See what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we are done for the day, I call my station and suggest there are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation. Sometime later, when we are done here. The fact that one hasn't started already gives me pause. An investigation, I mean. Especially if the Madre grouping is involved, and I can't imagine they aren't. It's certainly worrisome. All the same, I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. That won't help anyone either. Debrief over.
А это чё? О! Нормас. Сейчас банок плюс собираем. Вопрос, куда сдавать бутылки?
This coin operated view.
Вопрос, куда сдавать все эти бутылки? А куда можно сдать тару?
Son, you've really let yourself go. It's a disgrace. But Coach Physical Instrument is going to get you back in. It's going to take blood, sweat, piss, and tears. Behold, world. Here walks a sportsman, hands choked.
И что нам надо сделать с этим? Не понял. Не работает почему-то.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Not an umbrella, I hope. I don't need one myself, you see.
All around you, rain keeps falling down. On the wooden boards she's standing on, and on the water.
Sadly, I need this one myself. It's hydrophobic, repels water, almost magically. The company makes them for offshore platform personnel. Very sturdy. What I can do for you is answer some questions. Nothing like talking to pass a rainy day. Yes, my eyes on the harbour have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered? It doesn't really matter, and I do apologize for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford. In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will
The lieutenant is about to interject. Cut him off. This decision should be yours. Exactly. But what?
Ну, нам удалось обнаружить кое-что интересное.
Good to hear. I wouldn't want to pry into a confidential police matter, but in the event you'd like to share more...
Be very careful what information you're gonna share with her.
Ну, преступник женщина.
Clever. If you suspect a woman in this sort of skullduggery, good move on their part. That speaks of the vastness and sophistication of the operation. Were you able to examine the radio? Taking it out of commission will deal a blow to the smuggling network. Excellent work. High-intensity microwave frequencies. They're used for navigational purposes, to compress the inter-eastlery space. They may use it to communicate with incoming freighters.
Let's be honest. You have no idea what that meant. Inter-eastlery microwave compression.
Не, ну мы поняли, что это для связи с кораблями используется.
I appreciate you placing your trust in me. Thank you again for looking into this matter. You have my... Now, per our original agreement, it's time for me to share company secrets with you. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder...
The words bloodbath sound cold in her mouth. They taste of iron and straw.
I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor. They were dispatched after I relayed the union's initial offer.
Every worker...
A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric, or a joke. They did absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they, exactly?
Crenell, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban...
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night. Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenell contractors carry out their... It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, execute...
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
It will be all of them. The decision is already made.
Ну, должен признать, ты вообще не диско.
It is very far from disco. My only hope is that you provide a single, concrete suspect before the mercenaries indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put, if you don't pin this on someone good and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
They would have to project strength and power.
The débardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty. These men work in tandem using semi and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all. As I said, a bloodbath.
Ну, довольно мрачный
Too many things have already
исход
gone wrong.
описывает, да.
Nameless, badgeless detective of the citizens' militia. All we can do is keep that which is not from following suit. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation. Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it. That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
The lieutenant consults his notebook, his eyebrow.
We haven't heard any reports about an assault in connection with the lynching. Where did it take place? And when?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on
А в
narcotics
смысле у нас
too.
нет записи? У нас есть записи об этом.
Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him. That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor about a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's...
You meet her soon enough, you feel.
If you mean did I see him alive, yes. But I did not know him. Lely, his service name, a nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever... He was 40. Or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age. Or...
What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was, Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent. Oranese. Or Messinian, maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it. Through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once. Until the executions start. Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members.
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative.
5 days, not more. Maybe sooner.
Ну да, неделька, я говорю.
It's a matter of days, not weeks. They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes.
Vigilantes. You're a professional officer of the only legitimate authority in Revachol.
Ну, пока стоит держаться
That's
подальше.
wise. Our goal is to avert catastrophe. Besides, I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
For about half a minute, in silence.
It was taken with a trigette not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish.
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance close. Port cities. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. Over 300... The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by.
Where is he now?
That is precisely what the sailors feared when they drew these maps. The fear of drowning within one's own court. Quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, through what I think must be the Stad's Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Pretto, he sailed to the Insula Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after the discovery of
You said you can't read it.
I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning.
Somewhere in an office lit by a single green desk lamp, Captain Ptolemaeus Price, 58, bald and bespectacled, is writing in a ledger on his desk. In Martinez, looking into Krenel, he writes in one. Then the man puts down his pen and rubs his temples with both hands. Outside, there is a siren.
That makes sense to me. We have no more use for a map of the waterways, just like we don't need sailors the way we used to. This is what the custom would morph into on the Occident. His platoon members? The other contractors. Though I do not suggest you go in...
You wouldn't even know where to start.
Так, ну вопросов
Is
больше
there
нет.
anything else I can help you with? More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead. What I am not is a basic term.
Everyone wants to talk about.
It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include a retrograde amnesia. It's quite serious. You should get yourself checked.
She conveys it in short, cold bursts, trying not to invest too deep.
Well, it's either bariatric surgery or long-term alcohol use.
Ну это из-за пьянства.
She nods slowly. What this boils down to is, this reality thing is stupid. Blow this joint,
Я согласен.
grab a bottle.
Yes, and perform autoerotic asphyxiation on yourself with your funny necktie, out in the open somewhere.
Wait. This reality thing is the only game in town. It's probably in your interest not to blow it. She stares at you, head tilted to the side, with a slightly concerned look on her face.
The girl in the old lady rags looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture. Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the soup. I can't. That's how simple it is. One may dye their hair green and wear their grandma's coat all they want. Capital has the ability to subsume all critiques. All right. What next?
Ну это мы
Glad to
сделаем.
have been of assistance.
И что мне еще качнуть? Эквилибристику еще качнуть. Ладно, давай еще эквилибристику качнем. Я надеюсь, что я смогу сдать эти бутылки. А может, мне нужен ломик? Да.
Give me
А,
a
это не надо
moment.
бабки.
I see.
Но квест тоже выполнить неплохо.
I hope some good people are finally going to move in. This place needs them. I know those types, yes. There have been some here, but they never make...
She appreciates your effort to curb the deviantry and laxness.
The waiters are at the end of this hallway, right next to them.
Окей. А вот пальтишко-то неплохое. Вид, конечно, тот еще. Не, ну пальто дает минус. А это дает только один плюс. В пизду это пальто. Вопрос, куда сдавать бутылки. Ну, сюда вряд ли. Нет, пошли сначала сходим к его отцу.
The trash container stands in the spring snow. The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste. You see milk and egg rest. You've done this before. The movements are recorded in your elbows. No, a box falls into pieces in your hand. The container sounds a muffled gong.
Я думаю, бутылки там получится найти. Так, это плюс хпшечка. Это шапочка. Ну и что ж бомжатская, ничего страшного. Не понял. Портрет мы уже смотрели.
A shift in temperature. The air chills around you. Dust settles on the stony floor. A former architect stands before a slice of window, a room plan in her hand. A cold wave has made the air in the is red from the cold. She's breathing on her fingers, clasping the plan. Faint pencil lines on paper depict the same place, but a missing eastern wall connects the room with it's clean and empty, with new tapestry embellishing the walls.
Еще хпшечка. Так, а вот и дом этого папашки.
A shabby door hangs oddly on its hinges, secured to the doorframe with a safety chain. An unpaid energy bill is attached, threatening to cut off the electricity. Your heartbeat quickens, palms go sweaty. The siren of amphetamine is singing you her song.
And
Ну,
the place
квартира
comes
действительно
with 3
похожа на
months'
шлюп.
worth of utility bills.
A shabby door hangs oddly on its hinges. Snip. The cutter goes through them like dead leaves. Don't let the quiet fool you. The beast is in there somewhere.
I know there's no stopping you, but let's at least make this quick.
Че? О, он спит. Ну и пусть спит.
A phone book lies open on the table, covering a stack of utility bills. Right next to it, in plain sight, sits a small bottle of score. It's right there, baby. Today's your lucky day. You pocket the bottle as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Don't wait. Celebrate. Blast that shit right here. Blast it before you face the beast. Deruita.
Моторика +1, психика +1, -1, боевой дух. Она использует левую ячейку 4. То есть надо для этого взять в руку. Ну да.
Now that you've acquired some stimulants, it's time for a little pick-me-up. Time to detect. See, that's your problem. A lack of confidence. Speed can help you with that. And, Kim, it can help you with
Ну,
everything.
допустим, давай.
You raise the bottle, close a nostril, and inhale furiously. The rush is almost immediate. It tastes bitter and
Ни в
caustic
коем случае не
and
так
stings a
делать.
bit inside your nose. Now the taste is slowly receding into your throat. The rush is growing in intensity. Your little heart pounding like a bird in a cage. Whoa, this shit is strong. Time for a little truth. Tell the lieutenant you did some. Clear the air. Spring, spring. Everything is clear around you.
In the bottom right corner of the screen, there's a speed button. Speed gives +1 to motoric skills. Perception,
Ну это, кстати, полезно
reaction
для того,
speed.
чтобы за плащом своим запрыгнуть.
Hear that? Magnesium. That's what you're lacking. The magnesium levels in your blood are dangerously low. It's about the low magnesium levels and not the high alcohol levels. Yeah, the other things. Long live the other things. Yes, and it's critical. Look at yourself. You're practically devolving into a fish.
И где мне взять
You
магний?
need to get so magged up. You've probably had 2 heart attacks and a minor stroke. 1 stroke? Don't be so modest. He's having one right now. Yes, if you want to live, you need to evolve. You need to transcend the carbon barrier. Just remember, it's not the alcohol. Buy more of that too. And it's certainly nor porolidon. That sweet, sweet, psychoactive, nor smoking for 40 years. It's the lack of magnesium and excess of coffee. You should
Кофе
stop
действительно очень
drinking
вреден тоже, да. Как и все то, что мы употребляем в этой игре. Это все тоже очень вредно. Это все занимает левую руку, я понял. Только управлять всем этим неудобно.
Master Investigator. You just can't keep yourself away from locked and hidden places, can you? Attaboy, the world's secrets were made for you. They wait patiently for you.
Самообладание. Это лучше.
Bundle of clothes heaped on the bed. A stained parka, some towels and a duvet. Some socks even. Something underneath there is it doesn't give a shit that you're a cop. It's not too late. No one's going to blame you for backing out. You don't have to do this. Just get out. Your hand touches a greasy duvet covered in cigarette burns and ketchup stains. You see a 60-year-old, fat, red-headed man passed out from large amounts of alcohol. You don't have to take him down. He's already down.
А Ким, он вообще живой?
I'm afraid it is. Look, it moves.
A groan rises from the man's throat, dry like a death rattle. He's trying to say something in his sleep. The man groans once again, but his tongue keeps failing him. It's impossible, and then falls back again, limp
Well, judging by the color of his hair, I would say...
The lieutenant's right. The man's unwashed hair bears a familiar ginger tone. Even the hair... There's still plenty to be scared of here. Just not what you thought.
No, it really doesn't. This looks very hard to recover from. This man won't be feeding his family anytime soon. Not that he was, but at least he won't be beating his son.
A pair of half-open bug eyes is staring back at you from the dark, empty,
Так, а с
and
глазами
frozen.
что?
It's clear that the
Нет, он
person
проспится.
behind...
Look, he's trying to communicate.
Silence. Only heat emanates from the sleeping. He wouldn't be too thrilled to learn you stole his stash. It was the last thing keeping him functional.
What is there to do? We could turn him on his side so he doesn't choke on his own vomit, but he's already on his side. We could take him to Remedy or Saint-Baptiste, but he doesn't have money for medical services. The almshouse would turn him down. They don't do charity for people who are trying to...
Вообще, в этой игре у всех весьма грустная и тяжелая судьба, я так заметил.
The pile of blankets grunts miserably.
What is there to do? We could take him to Remedy or... They don't do charity for people who are trying to kill themselves.
The pile of blankets.
What is there to do? We could take him to Remedy or... They don't do charity...
The pile of blankets.
I'm afraid it is...
A groan rises from...
Well...
The lieutenant. There's still plenty to be scared of here. Just...
I think he's still quite bad. I mean, what he has... This man won't be feeding his family anytime...
A pair of half-open bug eyes is staring back at you from the dark.
Can't you tell? It happens to exceptionally committed substance abusers. They fall asleep with their eyelids still open. Look, he's trying to communicate.
Так, а это у нас что тут лежит? Какая-то обувка. Нет, деньги. Еще деньги. А можем быстро перемещаться по карте? Нет, не можем.
Yes?
You see a set of tire tracks in the brown slush that covers the plaza mosaic. Hard to say. Cop habit. You look at... This isn't case related, you think. No. These tracks are not...
Окей. А как разблокировать ячейку новую? Непонятно. Стоп, сюда можно войти? А, это может быть крыша номера, и где там женщина была. Рядом с нашим номером. Возможно. Блять, как же он медленно ходит. Ну давай еще одну попытку. Кстати, шансы стали высокие весьма. Ебать успех.
As you leap in the air, a chilly breeze engulfs you, sharpening your senses. As the concrete floor welcomes you, you realize it's been a while since you felt.
I knew you could do it. My climbing down might not have been as disco as your jump, but at least we can...
With your feet firmly planted on the concrete, the noise of the harbor rushes back in.
А как нам теперь вниз спуститься назад? Вот так уже неплохо. А как нам теперь вниз спуститься отсюда? Через эту дверь? О. Что-то
An
новенькое.
imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the side says, "Tokens unavailable due to strike. Use
Мне
change."
пока некуда вроде звонить. Ну, допустим.
The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friesel. From the sides of his head, a pair of white antlers, because white antlers are one of the symbols of communism. They represent a society, a shameful way to treat a former king. Even one as underwhelming as, because Friesel was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. In short, the embodiment of everything the communards wished to overthrow. To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. Just column, no advertisements, you notice. So after rifling the pages with your thumb several times, the magazine is divided into several sections. International developments. Good comrade, as you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, du cristal à la fumée. This was his way, but like the structures of capitalist ideology, we too are at risk of going à la fumée, unlike many publications which are content to spoon-feed their readers reassuring drivel. Perhaps they've overestimated the market demand for this. So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on contemporary politics, culture, and international affairs, please consider subscribing today. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of this section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of free trade negotiations between. You also skip over an article about heavy fuel oil smuggling along the Messina. Whoa. Bear wrestling. Flip back to. It seems to be part of a new public fitness initiative in the People's Republic of Samara, SRV. Devised according to this extremely credulous account, Uncle Sport, as he's affectionately known to his people, has recently decreed bear wrestling the national. Based on the description in this article, he appears to be an extremely competent, and it's quite straightforward. A standard match features one man, or in some cases woman, against one bear. According to the SRV's Ministry of Information, the program has been a tremendous success. Public support stands at 87%, and youth obesity and alcoholism rates are down 12%, and that's very much the idea. President Kaczynski has long maintained that a strong but good thing you're a goddamn ox, son. An ox that fights bears. You flip back to the front of the... It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that, as you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local art. The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tournée, a critical Mazovian perspective. The actual article is surprisingly light on details, but after skimming a page or two, you gather that this so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility to her. That certainly sounds like a certain delinquent youth who likes to harass you from her balcony. You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season. Maybe sprinkled. Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically... Where to even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships. And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of Rand at the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're You see, one cannot avoid the conclusion that Tip Top Tournée is simply the apotheosis of spectacular entertainment under...
I can safely say the thought had never crossed my mind, Detective. I'm sure most things are, if the young men who wrote this article are to be believed. If I had to wager, I'd say they've never even seen the inside of a motor, much less a motor race.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of... Unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support. You skim the headlines. Paint the harbor red and white. Martinez tames the wild pines. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer, G. Martin, accusing the owner of the Cape Side apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent. The writer G. Martin remarks dryly that capitalists love what you flip back to the front of the magazine.
Времени не осталось почти. +1 визуальный анализ, -1 грамм. Нормально.
On second glance, someone has forgotten to properly...
It's unfortunate for the Union to just leave their
Let's see what's inside. The drawer opens smoothly. Inside, hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand out, and the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol. It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry.
Whatever's hidden here is hidden well. Concentration isn't enough. Only a trained accountant with a background in logistics would be able to really make sense of it. However, there is a little handwritten note stuck on the side of the drawer.
It appears to be a to-do list written in large, uneven capital letters. Remember, Leo, Everard's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everard's plants. All items on the list have been crossed out, and the note itself is...
Everard Clare, probably. The head of the Debarders Union. One of his aides must have left it.
What is so special about this borscht? Code for drugs? Remember, Leo, all items on the list. The drawer slide.
Так, нам надо было отсюда выбраться. Вопрос в том, как? А в смысле не открывается? Блять. Капец, сколько бутылок. Я надеюсь, их можно сдать.
This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, Rene.
If you must. But please hurry. We are pretty easy to spot up here.
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean, and their sparse looks like the inhabitant is rather pedantic when it comes to order. It's a black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man, Rene, is dressed in a Royal Carabinade. Rene looks like he's about to smile. This photo...
Why did you take that picture of Rene? You're really interested in that old soldier. Not sure I understand your fascination, but sure.
Так, а выйти отсюда как?
Snow is quietly covering the numerous wine bottles and cigarette butts on the ground. Someone partied well. They went through 6 bottles of potent Pilsner, 3 bottles of Commodore Red.
Well, yes, I think we can say with relative confidence that it was you.
Неплохо, мы тут повеселились.
Yes, this scene isn't exactly ripping with...
А пока не будем нажимать этот мост, скорее всего. У нас, кстати, есть деньги, чтобы платить 2 дня ночевки. А потом сюда сходим.
Container, container, I'll turn you nice and red. Container,
Красный, чтобы
container,
был
put
быстро.
the logos on. Container, container, used to be Wild Pines. Container, container, now belongs to Everard. Everard, Everard, Everard. He looks after everyone. Huh? Well,
The look in his deep blue eyes is as sincere as you've ever seen. Kind of makes you feel like an arsehole for no apparent reason.
I see you are not a union man, mister. Did you get lost? You're not one of them scabs, are you?
А что против них
I
имеешь?
mean, I don't personally mind. Folks is just folks, you know, and folks gotta eat. Just some of the other guys don't look too kindly on the scabbing kind, if you know what I mean, mister. Oh, yes, yes. I leave all kinds of notes for myself. That old head of mine ain't so good at keeping things in no more. I almost forgot about the borscht. Oh, yes. I've been taking special whirling borscht to the men every day since the strike started. It's very, very good. Makes a man feel so warm and happy. I feel like I could take on Mr. Renadan's boar dogs every time the lunch is done.
Power borscht, huh? Never heard of a borscht that turns little guys into dogfighters. Alcohol, however.
Yes, yes. I'm taking it to them. The borscht keeps them happy and in fighting spirits. Makes you all warm inside. They brew it. Oh, the whirling's cook. He makes it. Them is always talking with Mr. Manana in that weird language and laughing together. He doesn't speak what we speak. He's from Grad.
Ну, похоже, в борщ что-то
Oh,
добавляют.
sure, mister. Sure. You do that, yes?
He didn't actually understand what you meant, and now he's just nodding along.
Oh, that one. That should be empty as far as I know. Lots of containers here have nothing in them. They're just waiting to be loaded up. Oh, you want Mr. Everard then? He's an awfully nice fellow, he is. Him and his brother are both nice fellows. They've lived their entire lives in this here neighborhood. Guys like Mr. Everard and Mr. Edgar, his brother, are real good guys. Made Martinez what it is today. Mr. Everard and Mr. Edgar and I went to the same school. Oh, Mr. Everard is usually in his office, of course. But you gotta be quick if you want to see him. He leaves around 10 p.m.
Ну, окей.
Bye-bye now.
Что ты не идешь дальше? А,
Before you is a walrus of a man seated behind a large desk. He looks up from his work, not the least with great effort. He straightens himself up in his chair, yet says nothing. He simply...
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi. It's good of you two to stop by. Please, have a seat. I'm Everard Clare, head of the Debarders Union here in Martinez. I'd offer you my hand, but unfortunately my health prevents me from getting up. You understand?
He looks extremely comfortable. The tiny folding chair, on the other hand, looks like a torture device.
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, he thinks. Forget about that. What's with this Dubois stuff? You're getting some seriously bad vibes from that name.
почему он называет меня господин Дюпо?
Please, Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a civilized manner, as equals. Take a seat.
It's nothing. Yes, that's probably right. It's not. He's trying to throw you off your game with this Dubois nonsense. Don't give him the pleasure.
Very well, Mr.
Не будем
Dubois.
ссориться.
I respect a man with strong convictions. I, too, have convictions. One of which is that I will not engage with any man who won't face me at eye level. Should you find yourself more amenable in the future, I'd gladly resume our conversation. But until then, I'm a...
You're no Titan of Felician, buddy. He's got you in a fork. Sit down or leave.
Сволочь какая.
Mr. Dubois, I hope time... Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men can be of great use to one another. So tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union help a representative of the Revachol...
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world.
Oh, by the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence Gart. Some people have no manners. It pains me to... This should take care of that nonsense. It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your differences with a cafeteria manager. Go ahead.
Hey, that's 25 real. That's good money. Think of all the stuff you could.
Ну давай возьмем.
Is there anything you'd like to say to me?
No.
Cool? I wouldn't go that far. I'm sure there are cooler things than delivering a comically oversized novelty check to a cafeteria manager. But, sure, if that... Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, Union people are on it as we speak.
His slug-like lips move, but all you hear is an echo. Lost gun, lost gun. The world is swallowed by a black hole of fear. Only two words escape its gravitational...
I know everything, Harry. Right now, I know that you're worried. Don't be worried. Everything's going to be all right. It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't out there playing with it right now, pointing it into their own mouths.
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded.
Officer, we will deal with this later. We don't need me.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Ну, конечно, мы провалим.
God, you're sweating. Your knee is jerking. You're about to cry, aren't you? You're about to cry because you...
Mr. Dubois, you don't...
What is this, Mr. Dubois? He keeps repeating. What is he trying...
Mr. Dubois! Mr. Dubois! Harry!
While Everard is distracted by your odd behavior, the lieutenant's eyes are mapping everything around you.
Mr. Dubois, are you okay? Can I get you a glass of water?
Maybe you could use your hands somehow, in a kind of throw-in motion, like you're throwing that Mr. Dubois act right back at him. He's Mr. Dubois.
Продолжил стекать по стулу.
What an odd demonstration of... you got me, Harry. I don't even know what. As entertaining as it was, I'm a...
Okay, enough. We are here to ask you some questions pertaining to a murder.
Quick, here's your window. Get yourself to... It is about time to stop embarrassing yourself. Questions will help you regain some of your lost dignity.
Вы поможете снять с дерева мертвое тело?
You might have noticed there's one hanging on a tree behind the hostel cafeteria.
Oh my! Don't take this question personally, but why...
Mr. Clare, the man was hanged with a cargo belt. A steel-reinforced cargo belt. It's safe to assume the Union had something to do with the murder. Besides, getting the body down would benefit all of us. It's a stain on the neighborhood.
А еще лимит.
I can certainly see how having him up there might start affecting some real estate values. But of course, all joking aside, I am going to help you. Jean-Luc, my boy, I'm sending 2 police officers down. They have a dead body in a tree problem they need help with. Namely, and Jean, please take it easy with the race science. That's a yes to getting the body down, no to the race science. You can find Jean-Luc down at the gates. He's the big impressive one. You know, tattoos, muscles, ethnic looking. Can't miss him. Great guy. What? Harry, how could you say that to me? You know I appreciate a joke as much as any jolly fat guy, but I can't take slander. Are you actually investigating this?
Нет, не собираюсь.
You've heard me, Harry. Me, a friend. But you know what?
And gets over it in 2 seconds. Seems like it didn't really hurt.
I trust you, like I trust all my friends. And I know you'll never talk to me about this again, because you don't want to wound me. So do what you...
Thank you for your understanding. We will continue to do what...
You too, Lieutenant. You know, I like you, but you never were my...
None taken. Did we have anything else to do here, Harry?
Так.
Of course. Let us dispatch with the formalities. You call me Ever...
That's what the hanged corpse called you. Harry.
My God, so it's true. I didn't want to believe it, but you are a fantastic science fiction amnesiac cop, aren't you? What are the odds of...
I think the odds of that are very low.
I assure you, there's nothing to be ashamed of, Harry. You're among friends, and the good news is... I have a big fat folder on you, Harry. I'm sure you have a lot of questions to ask. Maybe I can help you out.
Don't trust him. For all you know, Dubois might be his name.
I'm sure you had some concerns you thought I might be able to address. And you were probably right. I can.
Are you trying to tell me you've gotten hold of some of our documents?
Mr. Kitsuragi, would you mind? Me and Harry are talking about his lost identity right now.
Так, ну давайте внесем ясность.
It's Harry. Harry Dubois.
You feel like a Dubois, but you don't feel like a Harry. You don't feel like any of these things. You know what your name is. You have a sophisticated name, like that of a count, or a beautiful man.
Ну, в принципе, можно работать.
And I can work with you, Harry. Now, what else can I do for you?
А семья?
Family? Harry, you're not a family man. There's not one peep of family in here. Unless you think you're a family man. Well, yes. I'm sure you're going to make one little boy or a girl very happy and proud one day, Harry. Harry, you're not simply a cop, you're a star. A bright shining star in the drab law enforcement sky. Outshining all other stars.
Ну да, я звезда.
Of course I do, Harry. And I'm gonna help you shine. I'm gonna put you on all the big stages. Your name in giant neon letters. Harry Dubois.
The giant neon sign reading Harry Dubois, hanging from the Cavalson crane. Somewhere in Mirova, a beautiful woman sees the bright glow on the horizon and says to herself, "Oh my God."
Ah, this? My friends in your organization gave it to me, Harry.
I find that very suspicious. May I...
I'm afraid this is meant for union eyes only, Mr. Kitsuragi. I'm sure you understand. Please continue, Harry.
А переодеться я сейчас могу? Будет это.
Everard's large hands are covering the folder, but the look on his face says, I know.
Oh, Harry. Oh, wow. This is really something.
I'm sure it's not that bad. At worst, he has an old RCM folder, and I very much doubt even that.
So how about it, Harry? You need assistance. Of course, Harry, of course. Let's not linger on personal details and amnesia. You wanted something from me. Yes, your lost gun. My best men are on it. They're turning every stone, searching every... Your gun will be found, Harry. Let me assure you of that. It's just...
The only way to find it seems to be working with him.
He might even be holding your gun hostage.
Но мой пистолет выкупила какая-то женщина.
Yes, thank you for the hot tip regarding your lost gun, Harry. My men have indeed factored it in. Now please, let the professionals do their job. Kick back, Harry, relax. I have great guys on this.
It did not come as a surprise to him. He might actually not be bullshitting.
Damn it, Harry. That's exactly what it means. I'm only kidding, of course.
He is not.
Of course. I understand. We help you, you help us.
Oh, of course. That's your main thing here. That's why you're in Martinez. I know everything that goes on around here. I mean, it's no secret that the lynching is connected to the strike. So much to talk about. Honestly, it's been weighing on me so heavily. I understand you need to... But there's a thing that's been keeping me up at night. I want to talk about the hanging. I mean, if we could just calmly talk, exchange information...
Yes, that sounds good. Let's do that.
But I can't think straight with this thing weighing on me. You're police officers, aren't you? I have a crazy idea. You guys are basically door-opening machines. Incredibly talented at opening doors.
Не понял, что нас хочет.
And I'm sure you're going to open this one with flying colors, Harry. This really is very simple, and there's nothing...
Does this jiggling ooze think he's going to use you? He's got another thing coming. Play his game, son, with your eyes peeled. He's going to slip up, and when he does, you're going to come out on top.
Harry, I'm a very busy man, and more importantly, I don't have that extraordinary physique you do. You look like you could run...
You want to send someone a message that the police are working for you.
I repeat, I'm a very, very busy man, Mr. Kitsuragi, and therefore I must take no one's. It's just a weasel. A weasel lives there. Nothing for you to worry about. A loud blabbering weasel. When weasels feel no one is watching, they start acting foolish. Just go there, unlock the door, and leave it open. It's been such a burden on me, Harry. I just want this to be over so I can discuss business with you.
Ну ладно.
Fantastic, my friend. Just let me know when it's done and we can take... You can get the key from Manana. He's down by the gates. Manana's like a free agent in the Union. Special operations. Hardened socialist. A real free thinker too. He'll tell you precisely where the door is. One last thing, Harry. Just open the door. You don't need to go in or anything. I just want that weasel to come home and see the unlocked door. Ah, yes. Your side investigation. Thank you. You've got some spirit clearing up phony drug accusations alongside this murder. I'll talk to the mayor and see if I can get you...
Not even a speck of anger in his voice. That's that then.
Harry, honestly, I'm just relieved you didn't get a hernia. A man your age...
Ну да, я
Yes,
удивлен.
yes, Harry. You are obviously in peak physical condition, and I salute both your initiative and your... Anyway, I assure you, I am a very well-informed man. Information reaches me before I even get the chance to request it. Oh, that's very nice. I haven't gotten around to her yet. I'm very, very busy, you see. One thing I want to make very clear, Harry, is that this is not some kind of union versus corporation situation. Everyone is just pals here. We're all trying to do what's best for Martinez here. Don't feel like you can't cooperate with her because you and I are such good friends and I'm helping you get that nasty body down from the tree. And with finding your lost gun. I'm not a jealous guy.
Whoa, that's so nice of him. Suspiciously nice.
Так, а куда предыдущий делся?
Vanished? Harry, the woman left her casserole in the oven and couldn't make it here in time for the voting. Oh, did I leave my casserole on? Better go home and check. The election can wait. When she got back, the whole thing was over.
Чё?
What do you mean, Harry? Nothing. I let him go. He's an old man, Harry. I wanted him to spend more time with his family. God knows how long he's got left. Harry, I have little people in my organization. I would never call someone a midget. What is this? Honestly, I'm beginning to think you're a midget, Harry. I'm only kidding, Harry. You're not a midget. No one...
It's hard to say if he really lost his temper, or if this is another one of his tricks. This man...
I'm just a nice guy, Harry. I wouldn't be where I am now if I wasn't nice. Politics is all about emotions, and I want you to have positive...
Okay then, positive emotions it is. You like positive emotions.
Yes, yes. Low balling, of course. This isn't a casino, Harry. Real people, real livelihoods are at stake here. But everything's a casino for those rich types.
His expression makes it clear. This is childish and irresponsible.
If she actually wants to see me, she will find a way. Any good negotiator would. And I just...
It's a fortress. He knows she can't get in here. He doesn't want to see her. It's as simple as that.
Of course, Harry. Let me just assure you one more time. It's perfectly okay to share anything we discuss here. I have no interest in what she is doing, but I myself have nothing to hide. Your business is your business, and I tell her about all of it. My brother's picture, my singing swordfish clock. Tell her how overweight I am and how I'm helping you find your lost gum. Tell her...
This is weird. Not nice weird, but okay.
Wait. You need this to get in and out through the gate.
А, вот это, кстати, да, спасибо.
Here, you're one of us now. A real red and white union man. Take...
Но, по-моему, он выкручивает нам яйца, как говорил Карпов. Стоп. А что оставили?
Shifts overhead, moving a massive metal container through the air. With a surprisingly quiet, this crane was built with a purpose, which has now been fulfilled. To move this, who can say?
I can't see how that was worth the records, except for seeing the crane in action, which I had.
The crane does not return to its original position. It does not move at all. Before you stands a cargo container. Just one of them.
You do? Because I don't. There are a million containers here. Why are you fixating on this one? It's a cargo container, detective. Just like all the others. We are not here to interact with containers. We are here to talk.
You attempt to turn the handle. To your left, the lieutenant considers your actions with some puzzle.
Его надо как-то вскрыть.
Thrusting control. Crane does not. No screech of metal when you push the button. Crane does not.
Пока, значит, не можем вскрыть, окей. Пройди. А что, нельзя класть? Видимо, нельзя пока.
Your raised descent has only worked, so it was. You surmounted the harbor wall in a display of athletic prowess to reach my superior. Then,
You're so noble, Measurehead.
but while I am gone, someone must stand guard on the bridge.
That would mean you're openly showing the people that you're taking the Union's side.
А что, если не хотим?
This is the uncomfortable result of not taking it down ourselves. I can live with a compromise.
Listen to your little friend. He is wise in his childlike way. His mysterious race may yet... Yes, that is precisely what it means, homunculus. This is not going to happen any other
Ну ладно,
way.
давай подождем.
See that they stay here the whole time.
The woman's gaze follows measure.
So, you guys are like cops or something? Look at him. His craniometric perfection. Are you cops or what? Have you ever thought that maybe things should go to shit? I'm Katya, by the way.
You hear that? That sound. He's breaking something.
Yeah, Jean-Luc must be really tearing it up over there. I wish I could see it. Don't worry. Physical stuff like this is really easy for Measurehead. Mental stuff too. It's late outside, isn't it? You guys must really like doing what you do to be out so late.
Так у него же член должен быть маленький, потому что у всех на перекачанных у них всегда маленькие члены. Вот. Если ты видишь качка, знаю, у него маленький член.
Stand down and congratulate yourself. You have sided with Ray's victory today. And what you had to do was to become a Union man for all to see.
А в жопу идем. Как мне, блять, пройти и взять вот тот ящик? Не пускают. Что? Спасибо.
The woman is still hunched over the railing.
Huh? What is it? What do you want?
She's just a distracted old woman. We should maybe let...
You hear that, Lowman? I don't think your partner likes you spending too much time with me. Oh, don't worry about me. I'm one of the best communers around. I drive Lomonosov's land, Udashnaya Zemlya, Western Plain.
A terrible cold comes over her, rattling her teeth.
The Transcatolia Magistral. You for 1A. Adestradas du Mirador. All the good ones. You're right, Lowman. I'm the one who should take my health more seriously.
A correct appraisal.
Is that all you woke me up to say?
Так, иди в жопу. Куда мы совершенно опоздали, да? Уже надо будет ждать завтрашнего дня. А нет, курица стоит, смотри. Смотри, курица стоит. Не опоздали, зря я волновался.
Gendarmerie, you found me.
It feels like a Friday. He seems to be in a good mood tonight. And his shirt is still unbuttoned.
Beautiful. So tell me, are you here to make things right again? Beautiful. I have some good news for you. My Sunday friend is visiting me tonight. I told him about you and he'd like to say hello. Step in. He's already waiting.
В смысле сегодня пятница? Не вторник должен быть.
Yeah, it does feel like the end of the week. Such gentle weather. Trust me, you do. That's nice, but I don't have anything to tell you. It's my...
He takes another drag of his unfiltered cigarette and...
Besides, I've got to run.
He's going to leave you alone again. Something tells you you're never going to talk to an individual this cool or mysterious ever again.
To the city. It's a beautiful night.
A man on high heels stumbles out of a basement club, music blasting over the entire district. It's chilly, and as the chemicals hit his nervous, something flutters in the corner of the lieutenant's mouth.
We'll talk. Just not tonight. Take care, alright?
Different, of course. His shirt. His shirt.
А что не так?
His shirt. No, I don't know why his shirt is always unbuttoned.
He's barely holding it together.
Come on, detective, let's go. We've got a potential witness to interview.
Так, здесь у нас 3 очка, здесь 2 очка, здесь 2 очка, здесь у нас до пизды очка. Давай вложимся сюда, где 2 очка. А они любовнички, что ли, да, или что? Носить эту шляпу, будучи копом, чрезвычайно логично. +1 драма, +1 электрохимия. А, нет, не проще почта. Вместо рубашки можно было бы одеть.
Officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia.
You shouldn't be seeing him in an intimate setting. For some reason you feel this man is your superior. Superior, but he's not in the command chain. His hands are clean and well manicured. This is a man who...
My name is Charles Vildrouin, and I am an official with the coalition government. I work for the Institute of Price Stabilité on assignment from Sur la Clé. I heard you talking to my friend outside. Very good. Super. I am...
No, first ask an innocuous personal question to get the interview off. Yes, make it clear you're the one setting the... Yeah, let's fuck with him. Who does he think he is? Assisting you?
Давай спросим про
Oh
балдахи.
yes, my friend has a great eye for these things. He refuses to tell me where it came from. It's a mystery. I believe they call this... That's really all I can tell you about it.
That didn't work at all. What was that? You were supposed to fuck with him. The lieutenant takes out his notebook and nods to you to proceed.
А други можешь рассказать?
My friend. My friend is a good young man. His family immigrated here from Kedra, and life has not been easy for him. But he understands the importance of education. He has taken his future into his own hands, and that's all that. Kedra is a candidate member of APIS. But, between you and me, their potential membership is a more... that it's never going to happen. They enter negotiations in 21, and it's been pending ever since. It's warm. It's also known for its mandarin trees and dust storms from Supramundi. Kedra's an emerging market, but it still has a long way to go. Maybe that's why my friend's ménage decided to emigrate. How did any of us become friends? Bad things happening on the Insulindian Isola? Oil platforms ablaze in the night? Civil wars lasting for years? Finally, the international community is forced to step in. One of the wonders of democracy is that everyone is allowed to have his own opinion. And not just allowed, encouraged even. Have you ever tried debate? Debating. You should consider joining a debating society for adults. I hear they're oodles of fun. I used to have a flyer for one, but now that I start thinking of it, it was for an improv class anyway. It's this funny theater thing, you know? Very... Sorry. Who? But I told you, officer. He's a bright young man here to pursue his education. Education is the foundation of our future, especially the arts. It is a cornerstone. Officer, you have to understand. I can't give you his personal information. I'm sure you have your own methods and databases, right? Please. He's deeply enmeshed in the study of the fine arts, yes. He's a truly free spirit. He likes all the arts. Perhaps graphic design, printmaking, who knows?
А что вы делаете в квартире?
I'm just enjoying the view.
A dead body we still need to get down.
Listen. The Insulindian Bay. This place used to be a luxury accommodation before the revolution. Apartments, of course, were much bigger then. A few walls have been added here and there, leaving some of the tenants without a private bathroom or a kitchen. But the million real view stays. You can't take that away. My friend comes and goes. I'm sure you'll see him around. He's a busy bee. I'm all ears, officer. The coalition is only looking out for the price stability. Inflation is a killer, like a heart disease blocking the normal circulation of the economy. It must be controlled. The economy impacts the entire international community, which is why it requires international oversight. Well, I'm renovating it. It is an interesting project. The building used to be a 12-story skyscraper before the cannons took the top 4 stories off. This, of course, happened when the coalition forces... You could say I'm undoing some of the material damage the international community caused when... Yes, as I said before, I'm a commissioner from Sur la Clé working for the Institute of Price Stability. La Communauté Internationale is what Revacholians colloquially call the coalition. In other words, it is the most important thing. It's the central goal of any sound monetary policy. Maintaining the price stability is essential to maintaining high level, which is essential for maintaining...
Basically, it makes sure the price of bread doesn't...
какой-то у нас скучный диалог с ним идет.
Too much inflation, bread becomes too expensive. Too much deflation, it becomes too cheap for bakers to produce. That's why the Institute of Price Stability works to keep inflation just below 2%. But not too far below, no. Too below is also bad. Below, but close to 2%. The coalition believes in the importance of informing the public about the benefits of the price stability. Transparency is one of our principles. A sound monetary policy is essential for addressing uncertainty. Stability is the raison d'être. But oh, I don't have my leaflets on me today. That's too bad. You can always call our information line. Making information available is part of the Moral Intern's commitment to transparency. It's the international organization for moralists, hence Moralist International. The Institute of Price Stability is just one of its many...
Doing one's job doesn't automatically make one anyone's bitch. Besides, there are more nefarious powers to work for than the...
But of course. Well, do you value freedom? Do you believe in a normal, stable world governed by democratic values?
Но Мартинez таким не кажется.
Martinez? No. Martinez is something else. Revachol is generally difficult. It's led by an interim government, which means it hasn't yet achieved. But they are working towards it. You're all doing very well here, relatively speaking.
Ну, да, как бы рабочий класс стоит подпиток капитала.
Of course, the detective's personal views do not represent the views of the RCM.
Ah, my friend. But the lesson of the revolution is that communism does not work. Oh, yes, the big bad coalition crushed the revolution. Tell me, if the revolution was succeeding, would it have been crushed so easily?
Да,
Are
могло
we
быть.
really so bad for wanting compromise, peace, and prosperity? Unreasonable? But now, enough of this delightful political interlude. Was there anything else you wanted to ask? What's there to say? Sur-la-Clé is a modern, urbanized country that measures very high on the Human Development and Freedom Index. Moreover, it is a great sponsor of less emerged countries. Revachol is only one of its many darlings whose progress it supports and cherishes. Oh, yes. Sur-la-Clé is...
What is it about this benevolence that makes you break out in sweat and want to run for the hills?
Whatever you wish, officer.
Так, вы видели расправу?
I'm sorry to say I did, officer.
Easy, detective. No need to jump to conclusions.
Ну, начните сначала.
Officer, it's very difficult to describe what I saw that night. It was so surreal to me, like in a play.
What do you mean, like in a play?
It was just so strange. I could barely comprehend what was happening. I was on the balcony when it happened, getting some fresh air. I remember that first they came in, carrying what looked like a body. And then I saw all the surrounding windows go dead, one by one. That's when I understood. I should not be seeing this.
Sounds like the victim was unconscious, or at least incapacitated.
А кто они?
Interesting.
I couldn't see their faces well, and there were quite a few of them. But they were very loud and very... Martinez. Let's just say that the laboring classes can get rather expressive with... I couldn't tell you exactly. Less than 10.
The lieutenant sends you a sharp look at the mention of that number.
А Сленит был здоровяк.
That's a giant you're describing. No, they were all quite human, as far as I could tell. Drummers? Why, no. But then...
I think we can drop the drummer angle. That was my bad.
I went back inside.
Yes, back inside. Keep yourself safe.
Were you able to see anything from inside?
Officer, The yard was pitch black. There was nothing to see, but I could still hear their voices. They were all men, I presume. But again, I couldn't see very clearly.
But we are fairly certain the lady driver was present.
It's possible, officer, but I cannot say with certainty. I believe they were mostly white, though I believe I saw 2 Aeropagites among them. And I am quite certain that one spoke with a Mesk accent.
А дальше?
Well, that's the strangest part, officer. Nothing happened. It was odd. Eventually, their shouts died down, and that was all. There were no gunshots, no celebration. You're right, of course. That is what one is supposed to do in such circumstances. I'm afraid I don't have anything else to add.
About what time was all this happening?
All I can say is that it was late. My watch. Yes, now I remember. It was 30 minutes past midnight, give or take. No, I didn't see the corpse until the following day.
It seems this wasn't the break you were hoping for. I think we have everything we need. Thank you for talking to us, Mr.
Of course, anything I can do to assist the RCM. A moment. Do you have everything you need from me? I'm afraid we won't have the chance to speak again once you leave.
Почему?
It's against diplomatic best practices for an official in my position to be discussing murders with local militiamen. And I'm pressed for time. After you leave, of course, I'm sorry I couldn't be the break you were looking for. Good luck.
Да и больше у меня как будто нет никаких зацепок. Так, что по времени? Скоро надо заканчивать. Но мы еще успеем сбегать спросить по татуировке, а после этого надо будет заканчивать. И труп посмотреть. Нет, труп будем осматривать уже... Да хотя можно. Посмотрим, что по времени будет. Я вот сюда, кстати, еще не заходил.
Descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
Just try again. This is one of those things where the wise sage wants you to exhibit perseverance.
Do not be naive. I know the answer to the great race enigma.
Так, подожди, ну ты же знаешь, как мне по татуировке спросить.
Oh, don't be vulgar.
What? There must be some friction there.
Mr. Clare is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront International Capital. Also, to serve is noble.
He looks toward the...
А он не может мне про татуировки ничего сказать. По крайней мере, покажет. А, это не он сможет, это смог рассказать коллеги того убитого. Я перепутал. Да чё, какого хера он не спускается?
You missed a good show before. A kid came by and completely fucked the tree to pieces.
He fucked the tree up! Fucked it good! It was porno!
shoot that shit at Kuno, Pigonaut. Alright, so you got Kuno's kilo. Here is how we do it. First, you give Kuno Kuno's kilo, then that's how we split it. It's the best way, street way. The fuck are you talking? So?
You should thank him.
Yeah, so? Kuno did sick the pigs on him. Kuno's a man of his word.
Ё-моё.
Kuno sent your fat ass running around like jello.
Look, pig. Kuno sent you to rough some people up. Kuno played you. That happened. Now you and Kuno should move on.
Good idea.
Ну, я запомнил.
You got fucked. You got fucked, pig. Fucked bad. Of course you're gonna remember this. Now get the fuck out of after this shit. You better have something real interesting.
Yeah, real interesting.
А знаешь что,
Alright,
паренек?
so you got Kuno's key. That's how we split it. It's the best way, street way. Word on the street is, you sent your little friend in dressed as a hooker, distraction style.
Not a single muscle moves on the lieutenant.
Kuno wants to hear all about it, but first we split the kilo, then we shoot. Kuno knows what Kuno means.
А короче, обойдешься.
Alright. Kuno knew you'd try that sneaky pig shit on him.
Tell him, Kuno.
Kuno's got brains. This shit doesn't surprise Kuno. So Kuno's gonna give you one more chance.
Major fucking...
Kuno won't take this shit lightly. The pieces are moving.
Not like he thinks, but you can feel it. Somehow, it's not hard to see at all. You hand out drugs to kids. The lieutenant's faith in your judgment will diminish significantly. None that you can see. No, you can see it. This young man has junior officer material in him.
Tick, 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 tick. Decision time. What's it gonna be? You gonna fuck the Kuno?
Да нет, обойдется.
Alright. You fucked the Kuno. Everybody, Kuno got fucked by his pocket pig. Just when we get in our...
I told you he can't be trusted. I told you.
Relax, see? We got plenty of kilo. Kilo underground, in the tree. This ain't about that. This is about you and Kuno. You mismanaged this.
In truth, Kuno doesn't really believe there's anything you can do to make up for this. The damage is irreparable.
The fuck do you know about Kuno's life? Kuno's got plans.
Yeah, we got
6 meters underground, below piping from before the war, the collapsed remains of the Martinez storm drain system. There are 2 stolen flashlights with piles of battery.
Yeah? How the fuck are you still alive, pig?
Ну, твой отец полумертвый алкоголик, да.
What?
His posture changes. The swaying rooster motion stops for a second.
Fuck right. Kuno's dad was sleeping like a bum. Kuno told ya. Kuno's dad doesn't give a shit about it. You got lucky, pig. Kuno knew this. Kuno's fucking violent fiend dad's been drinking hard lately. Kuno knew you have a way in. Narrow window. Kuno window.
Ну, типа, хватит, тебе больше незачем его бояться.
Kuno's not fucking trying to be tough. This shit is real. Kuno's fucking violent dad's gonna be a vegetable. Kuno's gonna go out like that too. Gonna be just like Kuno's violent dad. Speed shit.
Stop saying all this sad shit, Kuno.
There's a touch of grief in there.
Fuck are you talking, sad? Kuno's got hard shit, death shit, nothing shit.
Ну, ты не обязан.
Get your fucking nun-ass out of here before Kuno fucks it dead. You think cause you took Kuno's speed, Kuno's gonna sub like a turn into... Kuno ain't turning into shit. Kuno is...
Kuno won! Oh, you won, Kuno!
He did not win. There is a crack in there now. and it's spreading across the face of his certainty.
Fuck right there were. Fucking 3 years or some shit.
Ну, нужно жилье найти. Нет, нужно... Вот, найди работу, оплати их сам. Твой отец уже не в состоянии.
Fuck that shit. Kuno's gonna move underground. Lead I am shit. Ancient shit. Kuno...
Yeah, in a tomb, Kuno.
Fuck right there were. That's right. It's a shithole. Kuno...
Yeah, in a tomb, Kuno.
That didn't change shit, pig. That only made things worse. Fucking social way.
It doesn't work, Kuno. Only our ship.
Kuno doesn't...
Ну и в жопу тебе.
The corpse lies on the ground among the remains of an absolutely demolished pinewood branch. It's gently laid on one side.
Mr. Measurehead has done a good job. Nothing is too broken or compromised. The victim is ready for a field autopsy. Yes. 1. Investigation of the scene. 2. Initial examination of the victim. 3. Field autopsy. 4. Transportation of the body to the morgue. We are...
What the fuck are they on about?
Cop's gonna cut his shit up.
It's not about cutting. And no, you and I are detectives. The honorary rank of detective signifies our ability to handle the entire incident chain, from autopsy to cleanup to social work. You are. Your station would not have assigned you.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Вот, осмотром трупа мы займемся, значит, получается, не завтра, в понедельник следующий. На этом на сегодня все. Всем спасибо, подписывайтесь на канал, ставьте лайки, комментарии, жмите на колокольчики, подписывайтесь на социальные сети. До скорых встреч, всем пока.